Tandem Nomads, episode 203. You want to solve a challenge in your business, or you're looking at reaching your goals, no matter which situation you are in, and trying to find solutions. The place to start is by getting clarity. So this episode is all about figuring out what are the elements that you have to have clear in your business. Hello, Nomad Nation. Welcome to Tandem Nomads, the podcast show and entrepreneurship platform where you can find great inspiration and guidance to grow a successful, portable business and thrive in your global nomadic life. This is your host, Emel Deregi. I'm a business and marketing coach and the founder of Tandem Nomads. Welcome to this first episode of a 3-part series all around how to build the foundations of a successful portable business. In the previous solo episode, I shared with you how to reflect on your goals and start building a plan to implement it. So I thought this 3-part series will help you now look at what you can work on in order to reach those goals. In order to help my client with reaching their goals and building successful marketing strategies, I've created the 3C system. So each one of these 3 episodes will be covering one of these 3 C's. In fact, these 3 C's come from a strong belief that I have that if you have a business challenge, or even if you're looking at growing your business, even when things are going well, it often all turns around making sure that you have these 3 C's in place to either analyze and fix a problem or take your business to the next level. And these 3 pillars of a successful portable business are the following one. The first one is about getting clarity, and this is what we will cover today. The second one is about consistency. Without consistency, you cannot grow your business. And the third one is conversion, making sure that all your efforts are converting into revenues. So these 3 C's are the pillars of all my coaching methods and my online courses. So to help you build your own 3C system, make sure to download the ebook that I prepared for you that's called the 3C System, How to Grow Impact and Revenue. So go to tandemnomads.com/203 and you will be able to download it there. And you will have as well some practical exercises for each one of these 3 C's. And we're going to now start with clarity. So what do you have to absolutely be clear in your business for you to analyze where the challenges are coming from, to find the solution, but also to take your business to the next level? There's 2 parts to this. The first one is making sure that your foundations, the foundations of your business, are very clear. And then the foundations of your marketing strategy. So let's start with the foundations of your business. You need to understand where your business makes an impact and where there's potential for growth. And for that, you kind of need to find your zone of genius. So how do you define that zone of genius? It's by answering 3 types of questions. The first one is, what do you have to offer? And when you answer that question, you need to be very, very clear about what problem do you solve and how you solve it. You need to be so clear about this part. I cannot tell you how many people I've met who are really good at what they do, but really struggle to explain to potential client when they are asked in networking events, for example, what you do. They really struggle to answer that question. And it's often because the problem is not defined enough. In fact, a lot of people confuse the solution with the problem. So in the workbook of this episode, I share with you an exercise of how to describe that problem and make sure that you are not actually describing the solution. So this is really, really important, that you also find the difference between the problem and the pain points. In marketing, the pain points are what will help you constantly find ways to reach your audience and make them identify with the problem you're addressing. I often say that the difference between problem and pain point, the problem is the disease and the pain points are the symptoms. When you go to the doctor, you complain about the symptoms, not necessarily the disease, because you don't always know what's the disease. So it's the same with your messaging in your marketing. Make sure to know really well how is your client addressing their symptoms. So take the time to go through that exercise and be very clear about what are those key pain points, those key symptoms that you are addressing through your business. The second type of information that be so important, and it might even be at the top of your list, is who are you serving? In other words, who needs this? Who needs this solution, but also who's experiencing that problem? And here it is so important, and this is my biggest message for you, that you understand the importance of focusing on a clear and very small and specific niche, especially if you're starting out. Here, so many people try to target everybody. When you would ask, okay, who's this for? Oh, anybody who needs it. No, Nomad Nation, don't ever do that. If you're struggling in your business, ask yourself if you are very clear about that target audience and your niche. If you're not, that's where I want you to get started in figuring out who is that niche. So to figure out your niche, it often very much starts with who do you feel very passionate of helping. This is very important. It needs to be, you need to love your people. You need to want to make an impact for them. So it always starts with that. Who do you really want to transform their lives with what you have to offer? And the more specific you are about this, the more chances you'll be able to reach them. If you're struggling with FOMO, fear of missing out, remind yourself this and repeat it to yourself. If I try to reach out to everybody, I will reach out nobody. So repeat that to yourself. The other way for you to define a niche is ask yourself, who do you already have access to through your network? Who have you been working with in the past? Who can as well around your network give you access to these people? So that's another way as well to look at it. But you also need to make sure that these are people that you truly want to work with, not just because you have access to them, but you really love and care for them and want to solve that problem. The other way to consider your niche is think about your journey. If you've created a solution to a problem, you might have been as well the ideal client of your business. You might have seen a problem that you didn't find a solution to and decided to create one. So as long as you have a proof of results for yourself or for other people, then maybe look at the people who look like you and who are similar to you, who you can identify with their needs and their issues and their challenges, and then make sure to focus on them first. So these are some ideas of how you can look at your niche, but know that this as well can be an experimental journey to find that ideal client. So you might not always have that answer right away. Give yourself some time to experiment, to discover, and also to hop on calls with various types of people to figure out who could be that ideal client for you. And I will talk about that in just a bit. But the main thing here is that you need to figure out who needs it. And among the people who need it, who are those ideal clients who belong to a very small niche that you want to serve. And the third pillar of your business is who's ready to pay for it. That is obviously very important to think about the revenue aspect of your business. You might have found an ideal niche to work with, but you also need to validate that they're ready to pay for your type of service or products. So here, before you start looking at how to validate that, and we'll talk about it, I also want you to be very clear about your business model. Take the time to think about what is that business model and how are you taking people from A to B? How are you creating that transformation from pain points to solution through your business model? Your business model gives you obviously a lot of information on how you will generate revenue, but as well as what is the transformation you can provide. So think about the different ways you can create that transformation and then shape it into offers, into packages, into different types of solutions that you can develop in your business. However, if you're just starting out, make sure to start with baby steps. Start with one offer, consolidate it, make sure that it's tested and that you have a proof of concept, and then move forward as you grow. This is so important. In the workbook of this episode, you will find some guidance to have more visibility around these three pillars. There's actually a graphic that you will find there to help you visualize those three key areas of your business that need to be very clear. So now I want to talk to you about the marketing aspects of your business. There are 4 questions that you need to be very clear about in order to attract your clients and make money. So here are the 4 questions that will help you build a solid marketing strategy. The first one is the same as the previous where I talked about your niche. The first question to build your marketing strategy is to ask yourself, who is my ideal client? Once you have that clear, then you need to ask yourself, where is my ideal client? And once you know that, you can ask yourself, how do I transform that ideal client into a paying customer? And finally, this is a big one. A lot of marketers, but also business owners, tend to consider that marketing is basically everything that happens before you sell. No, Nomad Nation, that's not true. I consider that actually marketing starts when you sell, because marketing is about fulfilling a need. So part of your marketing is actually making sure that you're nurturing your current client and they're making sure that they're satisfied. Because indeed, the 4th question you need to answer is, how can I make sure that my clients are happy and that they are referring me or recommending me? In fact, in a business, the cheapest way to grow and get new leads is by word of mouth. So if your business is fulfilling its promise and is also taking care of your clients as a huge part of its business model, then you will see that it will organically grow as well. So the recap of those questions that you have to have very clear is, who is my ideal client? Number 2, where is my ideal client? Number 3, how do I convert that ideal client? And number 4 is, how do I make sure that they're happy and that they are sending me more clients or contributing to the business growth? So for you to be able to answer that second key question, where is my ideal client? You need to run a market research. It is so important that you run an online market research, that you also do a offline market research, but more importantly even, that you actually hop on calls with those ideal clients to understand what will make them buy. This is really important. And by the way, if you already have a business in place and you already know most of these information, but there are some areas where you struggle or you want to take your business to the next level, it's the same for you as well. You have a pool of clients that's at your reach. Connect with them and ask them for feedback. Ask them if they're willing to hop on a call with you to run your survey. I have a whole episode telling you exactly how to run your survey, so make sure to check it out. I will share it as well in the workbook as well as in the show notes of this episode on tandemnomads.com/203. I want to add some more about this whole idea of where is your ideal customer and why am I asking you to be very clear about that. In fact, once you have defined your ideal customer, you want to know how you can reach them. So you want to know what are all the places where they engage for you to be able to define a consistent marketing strategy that we will cover in the second part. So when you do your market research, there are a few things that you want to look at. The first one is, for that ideal client, what are the different platforms where they engage? What are the different type of content that they read? What are the different types of podcast shows, YouTube ad channels, or even social media platforms where they engage? So ask yourself, what are the places as well where your ideal client looks for resources and inspiration around the issue, the problem, or the topic that you address? Do that online research, and then based on the places that you find, you will be able to know where to put your energy and your focus in terms of marketing. We will dig deeper into it in the second part of this series, but I really want you to start now asking yourself, where is your ideal client spending time and is reachable? The other type of information I want you to research so that you can build your marketing strategy is around the solution you provide and your product or service. As I said before, you want to spend more time analyzing what is the problem and the pain point that you address. But then you also want to look at where is your client looking for these solutions. And among these solutions that they found, what has worked, what didn't work. So this is where you can then define where you can create your unique selling point, is when you have very good clarity around what is available on the market, what's your competition, and among your competition, and as well as other type of resources, where can you bring and make a difference. By the way, I just want to make a quick talk here about competition. And I have a whole episode about that as well that I will link to the show notes of this episode. It is so important that you see your competition as a huge opportunity for you. First of all, when there is competition, there is validation. So you should be grateful that there's other people who started ahead of you to set the stage for you to do business, and those who come behind you are those who will encourage you to keep going and get better at what you do. But as well, your competition, by analyzing them without judging and comparing yourself to them, will help you get also intelligence about the market. I highly recommend you to look at your direct competition, especially those who are attracting the same ideal client, the same niche. Where are the places where they communicate and where are the places where they get exposure? That will help you as well figure out where you can do that as well. So very important for you as well to, when you run those online research and when you have those goals, to understand where you can make a difference and how you can position yourself without using this exercise as a way to feel miserable about yourself. It is so important that you stay very pragmatic about that. However, know that to make a difference, it's not always factual. Just being yourself, for example, if you're a coach, there's a ton of coaches who might do a very similar thing as you. But know that as you grow and you grow your confidence, you will also develop your own style. So for you to develop your own style and your own positioning, your own differentiation value, your own brand, the key is consistency. We'll talk about it as well. That is what will help you position yourself. So not too much pressure there if you struggle to really find that differentiation value. I just still want you to keep some effort in figuring that out. And the key, again, is analyzing what are the other clients or people who you want to target, what are they doing to fix their problem? And among those things, what are the things that are working for them and what are the things that are not working for them? And position yourself in the area where it's not working for them. All right. So I summarized here some of the things where you need to be clear. I also want to address all of you who might have some challenges in your business. First of all, I can guarantee you, I've worked with so many solo entrepreneurs, but as well as a consultant in my past for big corporate companies. And I can tell you that this comes from a repetition of seeing how any challenge usually comes from lack of clarity, and especially lack of clarity in one of these areas. So make sure to listen again to this podcast episode if you need to, and use the exercises in the workbook that I prepared for you so that you can get that clarity. But on top of it, if you're really struggling with a problem, I want you to use this little consulting method that I used to have when I used to be a consultant, is to really understand that for you to find the solution, you need to define the problem very clearly. So if you are having a challenge, sit down and understand first where is the source of that challenge so that you can have clarity around what is the right solution for you. This is really important. I think it was Einstein who said, I spent 99% of my time thinking of the problem and 1% figuring out the solution. The solution to your business challenges is in how clear you are about your challenges, how clear you are about the cause behind what's stopping you in your business. So hopefully these different indications and areas that are summarized for you will help you to have a bit more clarity about what could that be? What could that source of the challenge be? Now, a quick word about something that I've noticed along the way. I do believe that there is something very rational about marketing strategies and business growth. There is based on this 3C system, and the first part that is the crucial one to start with, which is clarity, as I described here. But I talked as well a little bit about the challenges that might stop you in your business, and know that very often a big piece of the challenges we encounter in our businesses have nothing to do with the actual business or with the strategies. Very often, we might have our own self-limiting beliefs or some kind of emotions and blocks, mindset locks that we might have that are stopping us from having clarity. That is why, while I ask you to work through this workbook on the pragmatic aspects of your business, be aware along the way what are the thoughts that you're having that are stopping you from doing the work effectively. For example, if you are doing a market research and you find so many competitors who are doing things maybe even better than you are doing, and suddenly you feel so miserable and feel completely demotivated, this is something that you need to address as well. Sometimes it might be you saying, why should I work with these clients? Who am I to work with this? How can I be the right person when there's so many other people who have more experience than me? So this kind of thoughts are the thoughts that will stop you from figuring out the right pillar for your businesses. So I want you to first of all address them, and then list all the reasons why those thoughts are not true. It's really important that you observe what you're thinking along the way when you go through this process, and that you address those thoughts that are stopping you. It is so important. Mindset is everything, Nomad Nation. It is the foundation for everything else to work. So I hope that you do take the time to go through this process, as well as notice how you feel along the way and what are the thoughts that you can tell yourself to make sure to not let your limiting beliefs stop you along the way. All right, Nomad Nation, I can't wait to hear all about what you have learned and what are the results you might have gotten through this process. If you want to share your experience and connect with other members of the Tandem Nomads community, make sure to join me inside the Tandem Nomads Facebook group, where you can exchange with other members of your feedback, highlights, and any questions you might as well have along the way. Nomad Nation, I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Stay tuned to turn your challenges into great opportunities.